Brodes Media.
All right, everyone, before we attack that nonsense, I have a few things to tell you. First, if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up button, too. I greatly appreciate the support. If you're buying tickets to any upcoming game, NBA is coming up, NFL is in action, hockey, bang, here we go. Go to SeatGeek, utilize the promo code BRODES at checkout, get $20 off of your purchase. It's a no-brainer. Over on Twitter, at Brodes81. That is my personal account. Hit the follow button there. Brodesmedia.com. Check out the blogs. It's been a lot of fun writing content. And with that, that's all. Enjoy the show. What is going on, everyone? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Brodes, the second straight week where for 3.5 quarters, this offense looked like it had no idea what it's doing, and Nick Sirianni is completely lost and overwhelmed with game planning, play calling, and being a head coach in the National Football League. Jalen Hurts was missing throws. He underthrew Jalen Reagor. It ended up being a flag, but still, it was a very bad throw. He missed Zach Ertz on 3rd and 5 as he was throwing it to the sidelines. Pretty damn brutal. He threw the interception as well. He should have got on that last drive where they actually were making a little bit of noise. I think they ended up actually cashing in at one point there. Actually, was it 4th down? Hold on a second. Let me find this on my list of the most disgusting plays I've ever seen. Oh, no, it was the 46-yard field goal. Why are you kicking a field goal when you're that deep into the game, down 2 scores? They missed it, and they deserved to miss it for the lack of fundamentals, the lack of IQ by Nick Sirianni, but he should have gotten picked off twice in that sequence. A pick 6 to the house on, what do you know, another screen that was sniffed out completely. Miles Sanders was there. I mean, it should have been picked off, no-brainer, back to the house late in that game. But, yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. Miles Sanders was not utilized the way that he should. He had some nice runs late. 20-plus yard gain, moving the chains. But I also wonder how much of that is when you pass the ball 99% of the time. Whenever there is that 1%, it's like, okay, whatever, sure. But if you were to actually commit to the run, is Miles Sanders still gashing you for 23-plus yards? Probably not. Plus, you're down if you're the Eagles, and the other team knows that. So the clock is running, things of that nature. I don't even know how the Eagles made it this close of a game. And I guess when you date back to Bruce Arians going for it on 4th and, what was it, 4th and, when did they go for that one? I'm sorry, I'm all over the map right now, but I was really baffled by that decision. They went for it on, where was that? Did I not write it down? No, there's no way I didn't write that down. Oh, yeah, here it was. It was literally that next drive. Avery tripped up Howard. 4th and 2. Very weird decision for Bruce Arians to go for that. You know this Eagles offense have been struggling insanely. You know that they have been disturbing. Pin them back towards the back of their end zone and then just say, hey, have at it. Have the length of the field. Try and go 98 yards. What disturbs me about the Eagles, is basically this Buccaneers team sucks in the secondary. Absolutely blows in the secondary. And with that, their passing game looked like they were 6-year-olds playing Pop Warner. So we knew they would lose. And don't get fooled by how close the score was. We knew they would lose, but we did not anticipate seeing 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, punt, interception, 3 and out. The team stinks. We thought that there would be flow. You can't get any sort of rhythm at all offensively on this secondary, please. You have to do better than this. The Buccaneers are a good team. Their passing defense gets annihilated week in and week out. Richard Sherman leaves the game. I mean, there's plenty of opportunities. Now, I guess I'm trying to figure out, is Jalen Hurts that pathetic that Nick Sirianni has to dumb this thing down to the RPO? But it makes no sense. See, that theory makes no sense because they're actually putting way more stress on the quarterback because the lack of the run game is putting all of these possessions, all of these snaps right into the hands of the young quarterback. And when they get the ball back, they try and throw a screen to Quez Watkins. It's a loss of yards early in the drive. And Jason Kelce, you can actually see his reaction on the field. He just waves his hand like, you got to be kidding me. Screw this. This is pathetic. And when you're getting that from your center, yeah, you should be embarrassed. This coach is lost 1,000%. He needs to be held accountable. I can't believe we're already having this discussion, but are we talking stripping the play calling? Not that I feel great about anybody who steps in on this coaching staff, may I add. But seriously, going back to the quarterback, is this so dumbed down to the RPO level just because Jalen Hurts stinks that much? But you have to sink or swim because this is terrible. And then we keep hearing after the game every single week, well, we told you this before, that running the football is basically the same as these throws with getting our running backs the ball quickly. We value that as a run. It's not a run. I mean, how many times do we have to express this? That's great that you think that. Okay, it's all cute that you feel it's the same as a run. It's not a run. It's not. And you got your quarterback in shotgun all the time. This is the National Football League. And it's really crazy because while Nick Sirianni was young and nobody truly knew anything about him, he's been around the National Football League for quite some time. It's not as if they just plucked him randomly out of college and he's never been actively around what offensive should look like. You were with Frank Reich in Indianapolis. You were through these organizations. You've seen offense. What is this? What is this? I have my concerns about a lot, right? Jannard Avery with that play at the NC. I know everyone's upset that the NFL has now become a league where you can't taunt somebody or stand over somebody. But here's the thing. You can hear it all throughout the broadcast. The league has been cracking down on this and has explained it to all the teams about how much they're going to call it. So hold on a second. You were informed what not to do, and then you elected to do it anyway. Is it dumb? Oh, 1,000%. It is the most embarrassing thing I've seen from professional sports. It's up there on my list of what? Are you serious? But at the same time, you know better. You were told, right? I mean, you were literally told how many times by the league on this is going to change. This is what it's now going to be. Why even put yourself in that position to begin with? I see all over the Twitter world that the referees absolutely were brutal and had ruined this one. Marcus Epps, was that an interception? I don't know. I could have made the argument that it hit the ground. At the same time, was there enough evidence to overturn it? Probably not. But do you see what is happening right now with this team? I don't want to hear the referees are bad. We all watch football on Sunday. It's bad. We know that. That's inevitable. There's no getting around it. Having to waste a challenge on that Quez Watkins catch where his feet clearly dragged and he had both feet in, and you have to waste a challenge on that. Yeah, it's not ideal. Your head coach is brutal. Your quarterback has some major serious concerns. I don't want to hear it that, look, I get it. Your head coach is the #1 problem over the quarterback. But you can't just pretend at this point that you are comfortable with his accuracy, that you are comfortable with his decision-making. And I do wonder how much of this is on Nick Sirianni, telling him, this is your read. You go to this guy, babying him so much to the point where it's, this is you. This is what you get locked in on. And from there, it turns into the slop that we see consistently. At the same time, yeah, you know what? It's very reasonable and acceptable to wonder if he's going to have enough. You heard Aikman talk about it all game long. What is he doing? And when you throw it to Rager, the second pass interference, that big, huge one that was able to get them rolling a bit with the tiniest little amount of momentum, yeah, you know what? Jalen Rager could have made the catch. And it was out in front of the two guys running. At the same time, someone with an actual arm that is in that spot with a little more confidence, with a little more touch, recognizes that that's a matchup earlier. That's a matchup earlier throughout the... I'm going to get this up quicker. I'm going to get this out and just lead him in. Instead, he's got to crow hop. He's got to get his whole entire body into it, and he does get it there, but the level of difficulty to get it there should not be that. It should be easier. It should be smoother. And at that point, you could tell, those are the deficiencies. Even when you see the interception to Quez Watkins, go back and watch Jalen Hurts and the way that he has to muscle that downfield. And I've been telling people that it's not as bad as what people thought it was, where he's got no arm talent whatsoever. It's not as bad as I think some draw it out to be, but there are clear issues and there are clear signs. If there was better scheme and better flow and getting guys open through the middle of the field, there's no layers to this offense. It's just basically screens and then hoping and praying that Jalen Hurts can scramble to the right and something will magically be there. That is impossible. That is a horrific method, and I'd be very, very pissed off if I'm Jeffrey Lurie or Howie Roseman watching this. This was not what we were sold. This was not the game plan that we were in. We put these players in all these great positions, and our offense will build off of each other. These plays are not building off of each other at all. There's no layers. So what happens if there's a coach that get those layers, that get that middle of the field action happening? To not be able to draw up any sort of consistency against this defensive back core that you just played, this banged up defense, it looked that brutal. It really comes down to major talks, major discussions on what's going down. And I'm even going to criticize the defense. That might be something that falls longer on the list. It falls down on the list. But I'm going to be honest with you. Jonathan Gannon's idea and concept sucked. And it's once again this, I hope and pray that Pat Mahomes, Dak Prescott, and Tom Brady, they're going to mess up. They don't mess up. They're going to absolutely torch you with all the yardage that you're giving them. The soft coverage, it's bad. It may work against Sam Darnold. It may work against Jimmy Garoppolo because those players miss throws and make poor decisions. There was some miscommunication out there for that one interception that was basically a punt if you're Tom Brady and all. And at the end of the day, it was a horrific game plan once again. We watched you have success. Now, there's plenty of reasons why. The offensive line for the Carolina Panthers compared to the offensive line for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, yeah, there's two different categories here. So, the pressure, and I know Derek Barnett got home once, and Fletcher Cox impacted a play, getting his hand in the mix. That was the one that was an interception, but got called back because Alex Singleton got his fingertips on it. By the way, he was brutal. Brutal is a word I've used way too many times tonight, unfortunately. What was it? 7 targets, 6 receptions. He's getting exposed. A lot of players are getting exposed, but I also feel that's Gannon's mindset. That's Gannon's game plan that he wants to do. Keep everything in front of you. It doesn't work. Once again, this is the National Football League. If you're going to be satisfied with the Jimmy G's and you're going to be satisfied with those beating those type of quarterbacks and all, well, guess what? This is what you're going to get. And they're not high on the list. Offense, Jalen Hurts, that's more of a question. No doubt about it. But there's still something wrong with the logic. Wasn't about wins, wasn't about losses this season. It was about the logic heading into each week. The idea, the beliefs. Here we are in a 2-score game, kicking a field goal with Jake Elliott, who misses a 46-yarder. Tough spot for him. But he just drilled you, a 58-yarder before halftime just a week ago or so? So it's very frustrating for sure. They went for 2 to make it that 6-point game. Oh, ho, ho. Hold on to your hats. Hold on to your seats. You know, there's something about this team that fights at the end, and I'm being very sarcastic and somewhat disappointed with saying it in that tone because you can't get fooled. And I even tweeted that out before any sort of comeback happens here, before any sort of excitement where you go, wow, there's no way, right? Just remember that 3.5 quarters was once again one of the worst ran football offenses I have seen in this league. Do not let that slip, okay? One rushing attempt from Miles Sanders in the first half. If I'm him, I am throwing a fit. Not actually, because that would be a poor way to handle things. But you get my point. He did have a brutal flag. Once again, brutal. Had a flag early on, and they overcame that. See, when the Bucs go downfield, chunk yard, chunk after chunk after chunk, the amount of times I use the word chunk in my notepad is terrible. That's how the drives went for Tampa Bay. But with Tom Brady, chunk yard after chunk yard after chunk yard, right? That first drive was so not real. What ended up happening? First Eagles drive, that is. 3rd and 7. Hurts with his legs for a first down, has this crazy escape of the pocket, and somehow gets past the sticks. 3rd and 12, Quez Watkins, there was a rollout, but the ball ends up getting deflected, and he still makes the catch anyway. He makes some stellar catches. There's something to him for sure, but it comes down to how they utilize him. They don't utilize their players in good way. They don't put them in a good position to succeed, and that's all they tried telling us for how many months when we were in OTAs, when we were in training camp, when we were anticipating the preseason to end because we wanted real action, right? We saw it all. Or we heard it all, I should say. And now it's just a complete opposite. Miles Sanders gets that personal foul, which they did not even show on the replay. And I'm complaining, yo, can we see what happened? Can we figure this out, please? There were a couple encroachment penalties by Tampa Bay, but then there was that underneath thrown ball to Rager by Jalen Hurts. There was a flag. That was a beautiful play design on the Zach Ertz touchdown to make it 7-7, but you knew how wonky and bizarre that first drive was. That was not sustainable, just like getting crushed early on and then begging and hoping and praying that you can crawl back late. That's not a way to have success. So, once again, right from the top, we stated it. We properly understood that they weren't going to just annihilate this team. They were a 7-point underdog at home, and they somehow covered, which is just hysterical. My group chats were going nuts. Oh, my, whoa, we don't care we lost. Now, these are some of my buddies that are just degenerates, and they're worried about their financial support, which they should be over a win or a loss in a season that is going to be irrelevant anyway in terms of, where they fall. Like, they're bad. They're very bad. We already processed that. But it's how it looks. We were promised an offense that is up to speed, up to date here in the 2021 era. You got this young coaching staff. Do you hear the difference in tone and delivery and message by what's happening out in Los Angeles with the Chargers, with a young head coach? Do you see the difference in leader of men compared to wearing a Dr. J t-shirt, jersey, hoodie, whatever the hell it was, and these corny pens on the hat? All this garbage, really. Do you see the difference in the way it's being carried? Now, the organizations are in two different spots with personnel. I don't think anybody's denying that. Do you see Justin Herbert? Yeah, I'd be pretty damn confident, too, if I had him on my sidelines, if I had him to help me when I'm designing an offense, for sure, 1,000%. But still, I mean, come on. And even after, he just sounds like he doesn't know. And so does Jonathan Gannon, by the way. He sounds like he doesn't know. He's had some pretty bad press conferences as well. So I'm upset with a lot of this team. And I don't think it's unfair to point out that while it's not the biggest thing on the list, it's still a major concern that Jonathan Gannon thinks that this is how it's going to work. You talk about sometimes having matchups up there where Mike Evans is lined up with, what? Someone worse than me? What are we doing here? And just to give you some numbers, I took some screenshots of some of the statistics throughout the game here. And this was Brandon Lee Gouton of Bleeding Green Nation. Eagles defense against Sam Darnold, Matt Ryan, Jimmy Garoppolo. 13.7 points allowed per game. 277 yards allowed per game. Eagles defense against Dak Prescott, Pat Mahomes. 41.5 points allowed per game. 425.5 yards allowed per game. You add Tom Brady right into that, and I know the point, they were right there at the end zone, by the way. If it wasn't for the 2-minute warning and the lack of timeouts that the Eagles had at that point because they were using them, they would have punched it in for another one. And I thought that they made some weird decisions. That 4th and 2 was really strange. And it's funny because there was an earlier sequence where the Buccaneers ended up punting the football. And I'm like, wow, that's a 4th down. Yeah, it was right here. Maddox had a big stop. Rodney McLeod had a huge tackle to keep them short of the first down marker. It was 4th and 1, 4th and 2. They were flip-flopping on where to put the ball. And they elected to punt it when the Eagles just went 3rd and out or 3 and out in the second quarter. I would have went for a big time there. The score was 14-7. But how about this? The Eagles 3 and out right after that. Hurts misses Ertz badly. Crazy. But that interception that was called back, that was a big flip in terms of the field. That was a 35-yard difference because Tampa Bay ended up getting to punt it once they reviewed it and said that it hit the ground. It did. Like, I get it. I don't know if I could have said 100%. I don't know if I could have went with I have 100% clear evidence to overturn it. I thought that was a little bit strong. That was a little bit too much. But at the end of the day, did it somewhat hit the ground? Yeah, I can't put too much frustration into that play or that reaction or that decision, I guess, from the replay booth. I have way other important things to really dissect, and your head coach stinks. Your head coach is overmatched for sure. And let's say they do go to Steichen. I don't feel any better about him. But there's a lot more to coaching a football team than just calling the plays and running an offense and schematically putting it together. You oversee the whole team. Well, Brodes, they did better in the red zone. Well, Brodes, they did better when it comes to penalties. Yeah, you watching this game? You watching this game? And I could say the same about the whole Jalen Hurts support. I could easily sit here and say that Nick Sirianni has not put him in great positions, and I wonder how that would change if there was someone that knew what he was doing. At the same time, though, it's also true that Jalen Hurts has been miserable in a lot of games here. He's been a problem as well. He's been part of that, too. It's hard when you don't run the ball. It's hard. There are factors into that, but he's also a talent that has issues, too. We asked this question about a week ago or so, earlier in the week. Are his flaws fatal, or can they be worked around? He's got grit. He's got toughness. He's got an awesome mentality and approach. Seems like a cool dude, right? That's all great, but if you're throwing the ball way too late to Jalen Reagor downfield, if you're throwing an interception to Quez Watkins, they even showed it on the replay at times too, where you got to throw the ball towards the outside. Your wide receiver beat the matchup. He got the separation he was looking for, but you throw it inside. The DB has a better opportunity to knock it down, and then there's that. So placement on the ball, the accuracy, the timing, the fact that they couldn't move the ball against this team defensively when it comes to passing the football, it's really disturbing to see. What's not disturbing, though, is DraftKings Sportsbook. Are you ready for this? Another week of the NFL season means another shot to win big at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers can bet just $1 in any NFL game and win $100 in free bets if either team scores a point. The last 0-0 tie in the NFL was in 1943, so I'd say this is a no-brainer. DraftKings customers can also get skin in the game with same-game parlays. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code Brodes. Bet just $1 in any NFL game and win $100 in free bets if either team scores a point. That's promo code Brodes this week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older, Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. In partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, you know what time it is. Let's rock the anytime hotline calls. We will hear what you had to say. I wonder if we get any calls leaving the link. Sometimes people call while they're actually leaving the arena or whatnot. And it seemed like a nice night to go there and just watch Tom Brady do his thing. You know, I know that was a hot topic around town today, that just go in, no expectations, watch one of the best ever to do it. And that's great in theory until you see an offense that can't move 1 yard. You got Quez Watkins, screen that gets annihilated. Now you're first and long, right? You're setting yourself up for failure while Tampa Bay is moving the chains. They're getting 2nd and 5, 2nd and 4. They're getting some chunk yards. That's the thing, Jonathan. It will not be successful if you just say keep everything in front of you. This is the NFL. This is the NFL. These quarterbacks can just dink and dunk you to death if they're going to give you that. Do you see the coverage? Do you see how much separation is already happening right from the jump when you're sitting back there? Please, haven't you seen enough? Haven't you seen that is just not going to be an effective method? Well, Brodes, what do you want them to do? Have some different matchups one-on-one on the outside, or something that'll make you feel even more uncomfortable? Well, when something doesn't work, you have to try something new. I get it. You're not going to have all the answers to stop all these playmakers, right? Antonio Brown, lethal weapon. Godwin has some speed. Mike Evans, and I'm watching him lined up on Singleton, and we hear from the DC that he doesn't have a dime package. Oh, this is just lovely. So I get it. You don't have the personnel to shut down all these options. But in what world, especially, let's go back to this. Nick Sirianni the other day said, part of our offense is to get Jalen Hurts in rhythm. It's like seeing a free throw through the basketball hoop, right? It's sort of like, I got to get fouled. Let me get fouled. Let me see the ball go through the hoop. Oh, yeah, that sounds like a great idea against Tom Brady for them to do that too. So we've heard this head coach emphasize how important that is for Jalen Hurts. How about Tom Brady doing the same thing? Did you ever think about that, Gannon, when you look at it from that perspective? Yeah, let's get Tom Brady just hot. Let's get Tom Brady going in rhythm by giving him easy dunks over the middle. He'll take that all day. And Leonard Fournette will run through you all day. Oh, man. All right, anytime hotline. Let's hear what you had to say after the game.
What is this game plan? What are we doing? Miles gets 4 yards to carry, and then you just go back to the passes, the RPO. It's not an RPO. It's just a PO. No, there's no option. It's just a P. Because everybody knows we're going to fucking pass. Because we're not going to run the damn thing. Hurts can't see anything down the field. I can't even imagine how many times Devontae Smith was standing there wide open for like a 30-yard catch, and Hurts decides to just take it himself. Or like throw it 2 yards out. I don't understand how these coaches look at this and week in and week out they're like, yeah, this is good. We're going to keep doing this.
I agree completely. I actually tweeted that out during the game. Nick Sirianni, and shame on me, I forgot it was a short week because of how much fun I was having. But all week long, you prepare and go, you know what's going to be amazing? This right here. I got it. I got exactly what I need. We're going to roll through this team. Are you serious? You actually sat around the table and thought, this is genius. I mean, that's really embarrassing to think about. Now, Seth Joyner made a comment about one-dimensional, and you talk about the RPO. No, it's actually a PO. No, it's actually a P. Yeah, you know what? Every week you head into the action thinking, I need to make this team one-dimensional. And the Eagles just basically do that for you. So you're making the defensive coordinator's job easier than it needs to be. Now, Todd Bowles is a very strong DC who has been around the block for quite some time. But still, I mean, you literally do what other teams game plan all week to try and do. You're handing that out on a platter and say, just take this. How much of the impact is Jeffrey Lurie? And then how much of the reads and not seeing the field properly on Jalen Hurts is about Nick Sirianni saying, this is where you have to go. This is what you look at. This is where we need you to go. I mean, it's like he's getting treated with his ass getting wiped, as if he's a child, as if he's a baby, cleaning his diaper. Why is that? Does it have to be this way, or else you'd really see why? And Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie, they don't want that second-round pick to look abysmal? I'm just spitballing. Everything's on the table for sure when you are stuck right now with this style of football. When this is what you get. Oh, yeah, everything's on the table here. And trust me, after the whole Doug Peterson debacle of, yeah, you won, but you didn't win the way that we love it to be, well, then guess what? Yeah, there's probably some internal conversations happening, and there's a snowball effect on what we're seeing out on the field.
Well, bros, another game, another L. First point, Nick Sirianni is trash. How do you take so long to find a way to move the football? 3 and out. That is pathetic. Miles Sanders gets one run. Well, let me say Miles Sanders. The whole running back committee gets one run in the first half. We come back by running the football to make at least a game. Jonathan Gannon, the defense is good for the most part, but I'm tired of playing this soft coverage and allowing touchdowns. Ain't the reason of playing this soft coverage? At least get some field goals on the board. At least some. Like, these teams are just scoring touchdowns at will and not kicking field goals. But the game ain't really about them for the most part. Jalen Hurts played like trash.
Yeah, he did. Jalen Hurts was bad tonight, and I'm really rooting for the kid. You know, it's like I don't want him to be this way. He seems to have everything else, right? He's got the swagger to him, but there's a very important piece to the puzzle that he's missing. And look, you can go back to, and I always use this example, but Josh Allen and his completion percentage and his touchdowns to interceptions his first year. But then I can always counter it by saying, yeah, but you could see the difference in skill level. You could see the difference in arm talent. You can see what he did and how deep he could throw the ball, and then he blossomed. But can guys get better? Look at Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, as I'm countering myself once again, a couple different counters here. I'm countering myself nonstop, but I'm just laying everything out there with Lamar Jackson. He was informed he can never throw. He's not a passer. He can't stand in the pocket. Well, I'm not telling you he's a perfect product by any means, but he did have a super strong performance last game against Indianapolis, fighting back, crawling back after being down, and he's clearly earned more respect in the passing game. Can Jalen Hurts do the same thing? I guess it's fair to say, yeah, maybe if properly surrounded by the right people, and if the coaching staff is there that needs to be there. I just don't feel that they have that right now from a lot of different areas. You know, we talk about learning on the job and this being a young coaching staff that will get better week in and week out. They're just getting crushed. They're getting annihilated. Now, with Jonathan Gannon, I don't think his concepts, and I want to make sure I say this the right way because I hate what he does, but it's not really the scheme that will never work. It might work with better talent, which would give him versatility to do more with his defense, but overall, his belief with this current team, you could do better than what you're getting. The results that you're getting now, you could have better results with your current personnel on defense. I'm not bashing the entire concept of what he wants to do. If he had better talent, if there was linebackers, and if you were getting more up front, if Brandon Graham was healthy, I'm not ruling it out completely in the full theory kind of things. If you play softer coverage, keep everything in front of you. If you have speedy linebackers that can make plays, if you have Fletcher Cox at 24 years old, if you have Hargrave playing this way, right? All of those factors, maybe it can be more beneficial, but with what you have now, I just don't see it. You're setting yourself up for failure with it. I always go back to Jim Schwartz could do more with this defense than what you're getting right now, and I truly do mean that.
Brodes, bro, we were never going to win this game. I mean, let's be real. We never stood a chance against the Buccaneers, but the offensive side of the ball, dude, Jalen Hurts, man, sure, he picked up a few big first downs running the ball, but through the air, man, dude, that was just bad. And the defense, man, bro, our linebackers are absolute fucking trash. Alex Singleton is not an elite linebacker. It takes him 3 seconds to get to the line of scrimmage every play. I don't care how many tackles he makes. We need an elite linebacker. And next to Sirianni, that dude needs to give up play calling duties immediately.
Yeah, my problem is with that, while I'm all here for it, I think he's got to focus on some other aspects of this team and just take a broad approach right now because it's overwhelming and it's just snowballing on you big time, and he's clearly in a bad headspace. You'll get the same exact thing. Like Steichen, I can't imagine that Steichen just has all this stuff that he's not, that Nick Sirianni's not taking, and then that is resulting in what we're seeing right now, right? As if Shane Steichen has all the answers. No, it would probably be everything that they've been working on since training camp and somebody else just calling it. But maybe there's more runs. Maybe I'm not giving Steichen enough credit here, or I'm not bashing Nick Sirianni enough for the lack of run production, the lack of putting the ball in a playmaker's hands. Whatever happened to that? Whatever happened to that playmaking ability of putting the ball in your playmaker's hands, but without just like a 1 yard screen, like at a professional level here, please. All right, let's see if I'm missing anything in my notes. Not too much. 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Rager deep ball. He gets the flag on the play. Created a couple big plays there because of the speed, but at the same time, Tampa Bay, very hurt on that end, as I alluded to with Richard Sherman. At one point, Anthony Harris, early on, he checked out of the game. I watched Kerrigan in coverage at one point. O.J. Howard had that wide open touchdown to start the game off with that drive that was so damn easy. But, yeah, crazy day. Just crazy, crazy day. What are you going to do? Another loss. Another loss. All right, with that being said, I'm going to end things here. Before we wrap it up, though, let me tell you about BetQL. Do you want to get an advantage over your sports book? You need to download BetQL, the only app you'll need to make smart bets. Their model covers everything: spreads, over-unders, and player props. There is sharp data so you can see who the professionals are backing. Line movements so you can jump on betting opportunities in real time. Team lineup, breaking news, and injury status updates. Plus, you can save all your picks in one place to track your success and winning streaks, as well as view your rank on the leaderboards. So head to the App Store or Google Play Store right now to download BetQL. Enter the discount code Brodes at payment checkout for 25% off any of their subscription offerings. Thank you all so much for listening, and I will see you next time.